Guys, it's Steve. Welcome to the Bourbon Basement. As you can see, Ryan's not here. I've already had technical difficulties. Ryan, I miss you and I need you on these shows. This is your fault. Uh, anyway, so welcome, guys. It's Saturday, 8 o'clock. I'll say new time, but not really a new time. Uh, Nothing?
No volume.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to try it again. So the volume is out. Test, test. It's on here, babe.
Okay. Great.
This, if anybody's watching out there tonight, will you tell me if there's any volume or not? Because we're having some issues already. Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
All right.
so we're having technical difficulties behind the camera too. I do apologize, but I do have what I think is an exciting episode tonight. If not any of the material, one special bottle that I have, and I'll tell you about it and how we came about it. So this weekend was a birthday celebration weekend. Very special birthday, not mine. Uh, and we started it at Keeneland on Wednesday. And for those of you that aren't from Kentucky and don't know about horse racing, Keeneland is in Lexington, Kentucky. It's a horse race track. The birthday gal, she loves horses. We went there. A good day at the track. But what's important about that is it is the first time I've been to Keeneland several times, right? But I found a new little bar that they have that wasn't hidden by any means. It's right out front and on the lower level, but it is a good bourbon bar. They offer um, elite, I guess, elite bottles that you can try. Um, and I actually got to try the Weller single barrel for the first time. I had two of the Weller Rainbow I don't have is the Weller single and then the Weller CYPB. I'm gonna put this on the chatting screen in case anybody's out there and they want to chat. Maybe I can read those and see them a little bit better. Okay, so we're on the chatting screen. But anyway, so Keeneland found this little thing, tried the Weller single barrel. What got that started is I won the first race and almost $100 on my bet. So I went and I paid 40 for a shot of the Weller single barrel. It was supposed to be 50, but I got it for 40. Tried it. It was very good. Um, Kind of maybe not what I was expecting because I didn't have another Weller or anything that day, so I couldn't compare it to anything else. Uh, but it was very good. Now, secondary market, you're looking at $500-600 for those bottles on the single barrel Wellers, and I haven't ever paid that. I'm looking for it for MSRP. Don't know if I'll ever get it for that, but I did try it. I did taste it. Don't want to pay secondary prices for it. Just my opinion. But it's good. It's just not $600 good. But anyway, so that's how my weekend started with an elite uh, bourbon tasting that I hadn't tried. And I kind of carried that thought into my weekend, right? So we went to Tennessee. We went to Gatlinburg, actually stayed in Gatlinburg. Usually we'll go to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. This was just the Gatlinburg weekend. So we went down to Gatlinburg. And the reason I think that one reason that we kind of went there and stayed was because they got a new speakeasy. It's called the Alibi. I don't know if y'all can see that right there. But it's pretty cool because it's you walk through a freezer, you go into their speakeasy. We sat at the bar. They had a lot of good bourbon selections too, for especially for Tennessee. All the other bars that we went in maybe had maybe 10 bourbons tops, and they're like just normal bourbons that you get, nothing real elite. The Alibi does have some elite tastings too. I mean, they had Pappy 20 there. Um, they had the whole Weller Rainbow. They had the whole Buffalo Trace Antique collection, except for Eagle Rare 17, which is what I went in to try. They had just run out of it like 2 nights before or something. So they didn't have that. And the other one was 6 weeks out or something before she could get another. But the interesting fact about the Alibi, the lady that started that and worked on that, she actually worked in Louisville, and she did the speakeasy kind of thing in the church. I've never been there in the church by Angel's Envy. So Angel's Envy is the distilleries on this corner, and I think the church is on the other corner. And they remade that the speakeasy upstairs or something. I don't know. I don't think it's a church anymore. I
It's
think
not a church.
it's
They
it's
turned it into.
yeah, it's a bar. It's not a church with the speakeasy upstairs. Although I don't know. So anyway, she did that and worked on that. So she knew what kind of good bourbons to bring. So she went back to Gatlinburg. She opened worked with the owner of the speakeasy, I guess, to open it. I don't know if she owned it or not. She never said, did she? Anyway, talked to her for a little bit about her bourbon selection. It was real good. And since I did have the Weller single barrel, I started my night with the Weller CYPB. It was a 2 ounce shot, and it was what I pay for it. Do you remember? It was a good price. So they were better prices than like maybe Doc Crow's or something has on these things. But I did the 2 ounce shot of the CYPB, and I actually liked it better than the single barrel, which surprised me because I wasn't even excited about trying that bottle because the create your own kind of thing, I like experts to create it because they know what it's supposed to taste like, not regular people that go Buffalo Trace and put stuff on a computer and say, hey, this is good. But anyway, it was fantastic. It was really good. So I tried that bourbon. I had a bourbon infused drink uh, with the Heavens Door Ascension, and it was really good. Had some black cherry ice. It's just a cool experience altogether. And then I finished my night with a Cream of Kentucky 11 and a half year, which I was also disappointed in. Uh, but it was only $27 for 2 ounce shot or 2 ounce quart. So let's get back to what we're doing tonight. What we're doing tonight is the Lux Row 12-year aged double barreled bourbon. I've got these other products up here because they are Lux Row products, except for one. So we're going to play a little game. Can you all figure out the bottle that doesn't belong? I'll give you a few seconds as I take a sip of water here. What bottle doesn't belong? If you watch this later, you can still play along. Doesn't matter. Uh, All right, I ain't getting no comments. I'll give you another few seconds. No, go ahead. Okay. So the bottle that doesn't belong is right up front. Why do you have a Jim Beam product here, Steve, with all these Lux Rows? Because it's Knob Creek 21 oh, limited edition, guys. So Knob Creek, I've told you all before, the Knob 18, I love. A lot of people think it's too old, it's too oaky, it's too barrel-y. Uh, this one's 21 years. Have you all ever seen a Knob Creek 21? Ever seen a Knob Creek 21? I'm very excited. So me personally, I like the barrel flavor in a bourbon. I like old bourbons. I like double barrel bourbons. I like that stuff because bourbon in a barrel, it's kind of what it's supposed to taste like to me. If you don't get the barrel taste in there, you're missing one of the main ingredients out of bourbon. That's kind of what makes it bourbon, right? It ages in that American oak barrel. So 21-year-old Knob Creek on our way to Gatlinburg. I'm sure most of you all, some of you all, will go off of 40 there or 240 and get right onto the Sevierville. I think that's how you pronounce that exit. And as soon as you come off the interstate, like right there on the right, there's a new liquor store. It's been there a few years, I guess. We stop in there all the time. They always have good bourbons. They're not quite MSRP, but they're not real high. Some of the bottles were really high. But this one here, I looked it up. The MSRP on this is $250. I had to pay $289 for it. But it was just, we were leaving the store, and then I looked way up on the shelf that I think, yeah, it was just like shining down on me, just, and it was just shining down. I didn't know that's where they kept like their allocated stuff. So I just thought they were on the shelves because there was several bottles that are behind counters elsewhere that were just on the shelf there. Some of them, let's go with the example. Russell's 13 was there. but it was about $100 more than I would have paid for it. So I didn't go with that, but it's just sitting there on the shelf. So they had some good bottles on the shelves, but this one was up to where you have to be at least 6'1", like me, to stand on your tippy toes to reach it off of there without asking for help. Uh, so I did and managed to pull this down. Uh, haven't ever seen one in a store. Haven't even seen one behind the counters. So I'm real excited about the Knob Creek 21. Can't wait to do an episode on that. But I probably will for about a year. I won't do an episode on it because it's going to sit and look pretty on my shelf for about a year. But anyway, I'm going to get this one out of here. And we'll start talking about Lux Road. You know what? I'm going to get this one out of here, but I'm going to put it right here in the middle so everybody can still see it. Can you still see it back here? No. Oh, well. I'm too big. I'll get it one day. All right, here's the one we're doing it on. This is the Lux Row 12-year age. So I'll tell you a little bit more about Lux Row. So Lux Row, back in 1958, David Sherman, it was the David Sherman Corporation, all right? They made all these fine products that you see here. Well, at least Ezra Brooks and Rebel Yell. I know they were responsible for them. Uh, and they made those in the 50s, but they never had a distillery. So they contract distilled these. They went somewhere and said, hey, can you make me this? And people made it for them. Uh, I don't know if they, I think that the David Sherman Corporation bottled their product, but I don't think they aged it or nothing. They just went and picked the barrels, bottled it, and did it that way. So that lasted, they did that all the way until 2006 when they rebranded and became Luxco. When they rebranded, what they wanted to do was to build their own distillery. Well, so they still source stuff and did it that way. But in 2018, finally, they got their own distillery built and started barreling their own products. Um,
Where at?
we're at in Bardstown.
Okay.
Okay, so they built their own distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. Uh, almost Isn't it almost, what's the one they're like right across the street from? Bardstown
Is it
Bourbon?
Bardstown Bourbon?
Yeah, Bardstown Bourbon is on this side of the interstate and they're on the other side.
Two nice distilleries.
Yeah, the very nice distillery. So we actually did a tour there. The tour was fantastic. Maybe one of my favorite tours that we've done. I think I've talked about the Lux Row tour before on some of our episodes. Uh, but anyway, it was fantastic. We did the she took grilled into the barrel, got us some samples right out of the barrel, and then we had 5 samples at the thing. I bought another special bottle from there along with this one. But anyway, this was the one I did get at the distillery. Was $189, and it is a Lux Row 12-year-old double barrel aged bourbon cast strength 118.4 proof. Uh, the reason you can tell it's a limited edition or it's a special bottle is with this fancy little cork they got there. That's kind of copper looking. Okay, their other corks are just wood. But anyway, so in 2018 they started distilling their own products. They got their distillery built in Bardstown, distilled their own products. They got warehouses that they store everything in, and now it's 2025. So a lot of the products are probably going to be their own now because, that's 6 years, 7 years of aging. Old Ezra 7, or this one here, Old Ezra 7, it's 7 years age. So that could be their own product. But they are still sourcing some bourbons, especially this one's 12 years. So they didn't distill it at their distillery, but they did have it made special for them. Um, but some of their products uh, at Lux Row is the David Nicholson, and this is the 1843. The Davies County. There's several different versions of the Davies County. Uh, this is also as a David Nicholson. This is the Reserve. They do the Ezra Brooks. This is Ezra 99. You got the Old Ezra 7. That's also allocated bottle. Uh, that's at the distillery there sometimes. The Rebel, it's not Rebel Yell anymore. It's just Rebel. This is the Rebel 10-year. This is the single barrel. I think I got this one at the distillery. This is Rebel 100. and then your Ezra Brooks cast strength. So this is some of the products that they make. I'm just going to clear up the counter a little bit. I haven't talked about the Blood Oath yet, but Blood Oath is also one that they make. I didn't realize that at the time when I was there, but they didn't have any Blood Oath when I was there. So can't tell you what they have, what they are producing themselves now, or if they're still sourcing barrels and still blending barrels with other distilleries that they have make for them to get their products, or if they're running their products all on their own now, because 7 years really isn't that long. But the Blood Oath, y'all have seen those bottles before. They're pretty coveted bottles, and I don't know about a lot of their stuff, but I know they make some expensive bottles of bourbon anyway. Um, Especially secondary kind of things. If you can't find them on the shelf. Uh, but what we're going to talk about is this one. This one is the 12-year double barreled age. This is 78 corn, um, 10 10 rye, and 12 malted barley. So 78 corn, 10 rye, 12 malted barley. Wasn't produced by them. It is believed that it's produced at Heaven Hill because Heaven Hill makes their Heritage Collection and the Elijah Craig Small Batch with the same recipe. So we think it's Heaven Hill. Now, you all know that Ryan's not here tonight. And when Ryan isn't here, I usually don't like to have a drink of something he hasn't tried. I want him to have tried it so he doesn't miss the experience. Well, if you can see this bottle, it's almost empty. And I've only had like one drink out of it. So I think he's tried it enough. I don't know if it's zoomed in or if it's following me, but it just don't mind my hand gestures, guys. My camera, we talked about it being motion activated. It was getting ready to start following me around. Uh, I don't know what I did, but so I think he's enjoyed this one enough that it's almost empty, and probably didn't have enough to do two of us anyway. So what we're going to do is do a tasting uh, and a review of this one tonight. I did tell you it was 12 years old and the double barrel aged. So when you read that, to me, sounds like a double oak. Okay, it is not. This is produced with two single barrel bourbons. Okay, and it is a limited release special edition. It's produced with two single barrels. They taste and blend those two barrels to make this product. So the first release was produced um, to celebrate their grand opening or the opening of their distillery, and they did that. They released 6,000 bottles. Couldn't find out how many releases they've done of this since, but since the original 6,000, it's a very it I don't know if they do it every year, every other year. I don't know when they do it because they won't say. It doesn't say how many batches have been released. It doesn't say how many releases they've had of it. Uh, so I don't know. But I do know that the releases are smaller now. So every time they do it, it's a real small number. And you think about it, if they take two barrels and they mix them and they're 12-year-old barrels, you're getting between 300 and 400 bottles out of those two barrels together. So you're getting a total of 300 or 400 bottles. So for that first release of 6,000, depending on what two barrels you get, every one of these is going to taste a little bit different. So they do put the barrel numbers on there and the date they were barreled. It's right there, handwritten on the label. Uh, they do that for every one of them. So if you had one with different barrels on it, it probably tastes a little bit different than the others. Although they have the master tasters and master distiller that's going to try to get as close as possible, I'm sure. But it's not always that way, especially when you're just working with two separate barrels. So they take those two barrels, they blend them together. Now, Luxco only operated until 2021 when MPG bought them. MGP bought them. That's in Indiana Distilling Company. They haven't really changed anything. Luxco's kind of doing their thing. They're doing theirs. I think what I read, the reason they bought them, the reason they wanted them, is because of the national distribution that they had. So there's getting more of MGP's products out to the public, which is good. They haven't really changed anything with this, but they do own Lux Cognac. So if anybody was wondering, that's what it is. Now, is Luxco just one of those little facilities, a little craft distillery that only makes a little bit? No, they can make millions of gallons of bourbon a year. So it is a big distillery. There's like 9 warehouses up there. That's big. The tour, again, the tour is awesome. I do recommend the Lux Road Tour, um, and their products are very tasty. So we're going to get to this one. You can see I've had this bottle probably. We found it at the distillery in 2024, probably in the fall of 2024. So I've had the bottle almost a year. It was open because one of our tastings here, our exclusive tastings in the Bourbon Basement, it was open for that. And if I remember correctly, this was maybe second. It was one of our first bourbon tastings, and I can't remember. But it finished well, but it did not finish at the top. So uh, I don't know what I'm going to find this time because I haven't had this for quite a while. So we're going to go ahead and pour it, and it's going to be a bottle though. What'd you
I
say?
said it's been open too, so
It's been open, and we're gonna end the bottle. Heavy, heavy copper cork right there, guys. There's not a lot in here, but I'm going to get you some, producer. Going to make sure that you have some too because I need another opinion. Always good to have another opinion. Babysit for a baby glass. All right, guys. So we're on to the tasting of this thing now, and I hope that you all have already poured you a glass. If you haven't, my shows are always better when you are enjoying a bourbon with me. We did this, get my son back here and to be y'all's drinking buddy. So, cheers. And hopefully, you all can enjoy some good bourbon, Lux Row product. If not, anything you want to drink. But there's going to be a little bit of quietness and awkwardness here while we do some smells and some acclamations. Okay, it's got a good sweet smell. Um, I do smell some of that rye heat in there, maybe a little bit of spiciness in that smell. And for the 12-year age statement, I don't smell a lot of barrel or smoke. I don't know what that sweetness is. It's not like a candy sweet though. It's maybe more of a fruity sweetness. Is that what you're feeling back there? That's what she's a. She don't really know. But I'm not getting an overwhelming sense of anything. I do get a little bit of the alcohol in there. Maybe it's because it's 118 proof. Uh, so I get a lot of that alcohol in my nose for sure. Okay. Well, it is 118 proof, guys. I haven't had any drinks tonight, so I'm going to need some acclimation. And when we do that, I just take a little sip. I coat my tongue with it. I start at the front, let it roll back to the back. Hold it in my mouth maybe 5 or 10 seconds. That gets you good and acclimated. Do that twice, just because professionals judge the taste until the third time, and I like to pretend. I like to pretend I'm a professional like this, so I'm going to do the same. It's good to pretend. Imagination is always a good thing.
Mr. Rogers would say the tears are excellent.
Yeah, I was getting ready to comment on that too. Our producer said the tears are excellent. It does have a good uh, tears, so and it is good thick chew right in here, so I can say that. If you all like a good thick chew, it's going to be there. It's not as hot as I thought it was going to be.
It's got a little bit of a bite, but
A
not
little bit of a bite, but
for
for
118.
118.4 proof, it's not as 80 as I thought. But I am going to take another acclimation. Same thing in my mouth for about 5 10 seconds before I swallow. So got my acclimation. The next one, when it goes, I'll start trying to pull out some flavors and stuff for you guys. Uh, and I'm already getting a couple little things, kind of what you'd expect out of a 12-year age stated bourbon. Do you have any left?
Mm-mm. I'm done. I've done my part.
What stands out the most to me is the normal stuff. I get the caramel and vanilla. Okay. Uh, don't get a lot of oak barrel for a 12-year
No.
double. And at the proof that it is, I thought I would get more oaky. Being in a barrel for 12 years, um, there's some dryness that's going back now on the finish. It's a little dry, got a little puckery in my cheeks. Um, what is that sweetness? Is it pear this time?
Kind of tastes like it. I was thinking grapes, but
Grapes?
I don't know, maybe.
Producer says grapes, maybe. There is a different kind of sweetness that I pull out apples. My palate, I guess, favors apples. It pulls out apples a lot. This is not apples. It is a fruity sweetness. It's not quite pear, but pear is the most similar thing that I can get to it.
Maybe. It's a good drink.
You know what else it has? So you get the fruity sweetness with caramel and vanilla in it. As it as it lingers in your mouth, the finish. If you acclimate, I don't get any of those spices. It's very subtle, very subtle. Maybe some black pepper at the very end.
It's
Do
a
get a
little
little
fruity.
dryness, and when that dryness starts coming into my mouth, I get a little bit of leather. We were in some leather shops there in Gatlinburg,
It smells good.
and the smell of that leather is kind of what I'm tasting right now. Get a little bit of leathery notes. So you get some leather, you get some fruit, and you get your normal vanilla caramel sweetness. It's a good bourbon.
Mhm.
Uh, this one's $189. This was at the distillery. I don't think they're even at shelves. I think this product here, you have to get at Lux Row, or you might find it on an auction. Or maybe there's a select few vendors that'll have this. This isn't going to be easy to find, guys. This is going to be one that you're going to have to look for. We'll go to the distillery. Like I said, limited edition bottle. Usually don't do so many shows on bottles that are just kind of hard to find or where you have to go to a specific place. But even on the auction sites, you don't see this one often. And when you do, there's only one bottle there. So it gets a little bit of good bidding on it because there's only one available. So I'm liking it though.
I
I'm
do
liking it
too.
real good.
It's got a good aftertaste when it sits.
Our producer says the aftertaste is good. I agree. I think the finish is good. I think the finish stays around a lot. I do like the thick chew that it provides. The only thing is the barrel. I don't get the barrel until I start getting that leathery note on the back. So I get the dry leather with the wood.
But it's faint.
It's very faint, which is odd because I'm used to that when they dilute it so much. But with this being cast strength, I thought I would taste the barrels a little bit, and I'm not. So we always try it with water too, just some people put water in their bourbon. Some people enjoy it on the rocks. I do sometimes with some bourbons. Sometimes I don't. So uh, I'm a neat guy most of the time, but sometimes I do the rocks. There's no shame, guys. You drink this the way you like it. If you want to mix it with Coke, mix it with Coke. Right, mix it with Sprite. Nobody's judging. Just enjoy. All right, the water doesn't change the smell to me. Still get that sweetness, fruity maybe with the caramel and vanilla. You know the thing that because I smell caramel a lot in this. I feel like it's real caramely to me when it smells caramel, and the taste is faint. The vanilla kind of comes forward, and the caramel kind of steps back. So this is kind of typical for me. So a lot of times I get this high proof bourbon. I drink it neat, and it doesn't drink like a high proof bourbon. When I add water to that, typically, not all the time, but in this one's case, when I add water to it, it does pick up the spices. I get a heavy peppery spice now. And it also tones down the fruit, caramel, and vanilla. So now I get more of that leather. I'll go to even some tobacco taste in there. So leather and tobacco, and it brings out the barrel, which is kind of amazing too. So um, it depends on what you're wanting. You can drink this neat for me and get more of a fruity dessert bourbon. If I add water to it or drink it on the rocks, I'm going to get a savory bourbon that'll probably go really good with the steak. And it's pretty good. I don't know if I tried this in the tasting with water. I know we have them, and we had that available for everybody. All right. So my ranking, uh, the ranking on the bourbon. So Lux Row 12-year bourbon age, hard to find, not beginner friendly. You're not going to find it. You're not going to want to pay the price for it, and it's 118 proof. So if you're new to bourbon, don't go looking for this one unless you're just a collector and you want to put it on your shelf or try to resell it. Maybe in a few years it will be worth a lot. Mine, I don't know how much is a bottle worth or just an empty bottle because I don't,
If you see them at Taylor's Malls, they're like $4 or $5.
$4 or $5 maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. So mine's not worth anything anymore. It's empty. Uh, But if you're wanting to try something different, if you're wanting to try a special Lux Row product, this is way different than an Ezra Brooks or Rebel Yell. Um, doesn't taste like those guys. So if you're looking for something different from Lux Row, this one meets the thing. Uh, it's pretty good. Um, for $189 though, and for 12 years old, it's not like wow. It's not like incredible. I'm going to put it down there around a 6.4, even though I think it's good. It's still about a 6.4 to me. I've had over the weekend a lot better bourbons, so I'll just say that. So, do you have an opinion on this one?
I was thinking 6.8.
6.8. So our producer goes 6.8, and according to Ryan, I rank things a lot lower than they should be. So maybe 6.8 is more like it, but it was still under 7 even from our producer. So it's a good bourbon. Um, as far as buying it to drink it, there's better out there, guys. Spend $189 on something else. But as far as collecting it, it is very collectible. It's one of the few you're going to get. You will have a bottle that most people don't have. So if you want to collect it, collect it. If you want to drink it for the experience, drink it. If you're looking for a fantastic $189 bottle, go get something else. And I would say, well, I mean, not fantastic, but I mean, there's some better stuff out there. Not that this is guys, this isn't bad. It's good. It's just not $189 good. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe it's not $189 good. All right, guys. I know it hasn't been as funny today. It's been kind of straight to business, down to business. A little bit of the story time in the front. If you're in Gatlinburg, try that Alibi. That's not a paid advertisement either. That's just fun. Uh, it was, and
And
they have some.
that's not something that's big down there yet.
It's not big down there yet. You can. We had to wait maybe 5 minutes to get in, so it's limited seating too. They have a red rope outside, and it's a coffee shop. Coffee shop out front. Walk through the freezer. Go to the back. You're in a speakeasy, so it's kind of cool. And they kind of got that I guess set back in the 50s or 60s, don't they? Kind of
Similar.
that's what the theme is, I guess. But it's real nice. Limited seating, so they'll bring you in as seats are available. But they have, as far as in the Gatlinburg area, best selection of bourbons that I've seen. The best selection of Kentucky bourbons I've seen. And if you like Buffalo Trace, they have just about everything they make. So the products that they make, including a lot of the Pappies. They didn't have Pappy 23 or 15. 15 was sold out, but they still had the 10, 12. They had Overip, Van Winkle, and the Pappy 20. So uh, just so you know, they had George T. Stagg. They had Stagg. They had Thomas H. Handy. They had the whole antique collection except Eagle Rare 17, which is, I was going to pay $70 for a 2 ounce pour of that. I was going to. It's the first time, maybe the only time I get to try it because it's $1,000 bottle on secondary. But anyway, guys, I hope you like the show tonight. I, I know you like it better when Ryan's here because I do. There's a little bit more fun, a little bit more banter, and it's fun. But tonight, we went with what we had. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching it later. And
Why drink alone?
why drink alone when you can drink with us? All right, guys, we'll see you all next time.